The moment Russell M. Nelson took his final breath, a 194-year-old succession process automatically triggered. No elections, no campaigns, no uncertainty, just pure seniority. The man now stepping into the role of prophet and president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is 92-year-old Dallin H, a former Utah Supreme Court justice whose legal mind and unwavering convictions have shaped one of America's most influential religious organizations for 4 decades. But who exactly is this man who's about to lead 17.5 million people worldwide, and what does his ascension mean for the future of the faith?
Unlike the Catholic Church's dramatic papal elections with white smoke and global speculation, the LDS Church operates on a remarkably simple principle. The longest-serving apostle automatically becomes the next president. There's no voting, no campaigning, no political maneuvering. When Nelson died Saturday evening, Dallin H. Oaks instantly became the senior apostle, making his eventual presidency virtually guaranteed. The formal announcement won't come until after Nelson's funeral, but make no mistake, Oaks is already the de facto leader of this global religious organization. This system has governed the church since 1847, creating stability but also ensuring that leadership consistently flows to elderly men who've spent decades in preparation. At 92, Oaks is exactly the same age Nelson was when he became president, suggesting this succession pattern of senior leadership will continue unchanged.
Dallin Harris Oaks was born August 12, 1932, in Provo, Utah, during the depths of the Great Depression. His early life was marked by tragedy and resilience that would shape his character for decades to come. When Dallin was just 8 years old, his father, Lloyd, died of tuberculosis, leaving his mother, Stella, to raise 3 children alone during America's most challenging economic period. This early experience with loss and financial hardship instilled in young Oaks a fierce work ethic and deep appreciation for strong family structures. His mother, forced to work outside the home to support her family, became a powerful influence on his later advocacy for women's rights and equal pay, values that would surface during his university presidency. Despite the challenges, Oaks excelled academically and spiritually, serving an LDS mission to the Great Lakes region before returning to pursue higher education with remarkable determination. Oaks's intellectual gifts became apparent early in his academic career. He earned his bachelor's degree in accounting from Brigham Young University, but his true calling lay elsewhere. At the University of Chicago Law School, one of America's most prestigious legal institutions, Oaks graduated with honors and immediately caught the attention of legal scholars nationwide. He wasn't just another bright law student, he was demonstrating the analytical mind and principled thinking that would later serve him on the Utah Supreme Court. After graduation, he practiced law in Chicago and taught at the university level, quickly establishing himself as both a skilled practitioner and gifted educator. His colleagues remember him as intensely focused, remarkably disciplined, and possessing an unusual ability to distill complex legal concepts into understandable principles. This combination of practical legal experience and academic excellence would prove invaluable when he was called to lead BYU at the remarkably young age of 38.
In 1971, at just 38 years old, Dallin Oaks became president of Brigham Young University, taking charge of one of America's largest private universities during one of the most turbulent periods in higher education history. The late 1960s and early 1970s saw campus protests, changing social norms, and intense federal scrutiny of religious institutions. Oaks faced immediate challenges that would have overwhelmed many leaders. The federal government was investigating BYU over the LDS Church's policy of excluding Black members from priesthood and temple participation, a policy that wouldn't change until 1978. Rather than retreat, Oaks tackled these challenges head-on with characteristic legal precision and moral conviction. One of his most progressive moves was raising salaries for female faculty and staff to match their male counterparts, demonstrating an early commitment to gender equality that surprised many observers. However, his tenure also included controversial research programs, including studies involving gay students, which have generated criticism that continues to this day. After 9 transformative years at BYU, Oaks made another dramatic career shift in 1980, accepting appointment to the Utah Supreme Court.
For many legal scholars, this represented the natural culmination of his legal career, a prestigious position that could have easily led to federal judicial appointments, possibly even the U.S. Supreme Court. His colleagues on the Utah High Court remember him as methodical, thorough, and unafraid to write dissenting opinions when his legal reasoning differed from the majority. Oaks brought to the bench the same analytical rigor that had marked his academic career, combined with a deep respect for constitutional principles and religious liberty. His judicial philosophy emphasized strict interpretation of laws, while recognizing the need for legal frameworks that protected religious freedom. However, this promising judicial career was cut short in 1984, when he received what Latter-day Saints consider a divine call to serve as an apostle. Leaving the bench meant abandoning any possibility of federal judicial appointment, including potential consideration for the U.S. Supreme Court.
April 7, 1984, marked the moment Dallin Oaks' life took its most dramatic turn. Called to serve as an apostle alongside Russell M. Nelson, Oaks faced the same impossible choice Nelson had made: abandon a distinguished secular career for lifetime religious service. The decision wasn't easy. He was at the peak of his judicial career, respected nationally, and positioned for potential federal appointments. Yet Oaks chose faith over legal fame, accepting what Latter-day Saints believe is a divine calling to serve as a special witness of Jesus Christ. This transition from courtroom to pulpit wasn't just a career change, it was a complete reinvention that would define the next 4 decades of his life. Unlike Nelson, who transitioned from medicine to religion, Oaks brought legal training and constitutional expertise that would prove invaluable as the church navigated increasingly complex legal and social challenges in modern America. For nearly 41 years, Dallin Oaks has served as an apostle, developing a reputation as one of the church's most intellectually rigorous and legally minded leaders. His conference addresses are famous for their lecture-style delivery, methodical reasoning, and careful biblical and doctrinal analysis. While some leaders focus on inspirational storytelling, Oaks approaches teaching like a law professor, presenting complex cases to students. This style has earned him both devoted followers who appreciate his scholarly approach and critics who find his presentations too academic or cold. Throughout his apostolic service, Oaks has consistently focused on 2 major themes that reflect his legal background: religious freedom and the defense of traditional marriage. He's testified before Congress, written extensively on constitutional issues, and become the church's primary spokesperson on religious liberty matters. His legal training has proven invaluable as the church has faced increasing legal challenges regarding its policies on same-sex marriage, LGBTQ+ rights, and religious exemptions.
Perhaps no aspect of Oaks's ministry has generated more controversy than his consistent opposition to same-sex marriage and LGBTQ+ rights. Drawing on his legal background and religious convictions, Oaks has argued that marriage between a man and woman is divinely ordained and that gender is eternally fixed. These positions have made him a lightning rod for criticism, including from within his own family. His grandson Jared publicly criticized him on social media, writing that Oaks had made a religious career out of anti-LGBTQIA+ policies, not prophecies. This family division illustrates the personal cost of Oaks's unwavering stance on these issues. However, in recent years, Oaks has shown some evolution in his approach, calling for greater compassion toward LGBTQ+ individuals while maintaining his doctrinal positions. He supported compromise legislation like the federal Respect for Marriage Act, which codifies same-sex marriage while protecting religious institutions' right to define their own marriage policies. When Russell M. Nelson became church president in January 2018, he immediately chose Dallin Oaks as his first counselor, creating one of the most intellectually formidable leadership partnerships in church history. The 2 men, called as apostles on the same day in 1984, had worked together for over 3 decades, developing a deep mutual respect and complementary skill sets. While Nelson brought medical precision and global vision, Oaks contributed legal expertise and constitutional knowledge. Together, they navigated some of the most challenging periods in modern church history, including the COVID-19 pandemic, increasing polarization over social issues, and growing international expansion.
Oaks served as Nelson's primary advisor on legal matters, religious freedom issues, and policy changes that required careful constitutional consideration. His role in Nelson's major policy changes, from the 2-hour church schedule to temple marriage policies, demonstrated his ability to translate prophetic vision into practical implementation while ensuring legal compliance.
Behind the public persona of legal scholar and religious leader lies a man who has experienced profound personal joys and sorrows. In 1952, while still a college student, Oaks married June Dixon, whom he met at a high school basketball game where he was serving as radio announcer. Their marriage lasted 46 years and produced 6 children, creating the stable family foundation that supported his demanding career. June's death from cancer in 1998 devastated Oaks, who had relied heavily on her support throughout his judicial and apostolic service. 2 years later, at age 68, he found love again with Kristen McMain, a fellow educator and community leader. Their 2000 temple marriage demonstrated Oaks's belief in the importance of family relationships and his willingness to embrace new chapters even later in life. Today, Oaks is surrounded by children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren who provide the personal joy that balances his weighty public responsibilities.
Those who know Oaks best describe a leadership style that differs markedly from his predecessors. While Nelson was known for his energetic pace and dramatic announcements, Oaks brings a more methodical, deliberative approach rooted in his legal training. He's famous for asking probing questions, demanding thorough analysis, and ensuring that major decisions are legally sound and doctrinally consistent. His conference addresses follow a structured format: premise, evidence, logical reasoning, and conclusion, essentially legal briefs delivered from the pulpit. This approach suggests that his presidency may feature fewer surprise announcements and more carefully planned, thoroughly analyzed changes. His focus on religious freedom and constitutional issues also indicates that church members can expect continued emphasis on these themes, particularly as societal pressures on religious institutions increase. Oaks's legal background positions him uniquely to navigate the complex intersection of religion and law in modern America.
At 92, Dallin Oaks assumes church leadership, facing unprecedented challenges that will test every aspect of his legal and spiritual preparation. The church's rapid international growth requires nuanced understanding of diverse legal systems and cultural contexts. Increasing polarization over social issues demands careful balance between doctrinal consistency and pastoral compassion. His age, while bringing wisdom and experience, also raises questions about the duration of his presidency and the need to prepare for another succession. The ongoing sexual abuse scandals affecting religious institutions require legal expertise and moral leadership to protect victims while preserving institutional integrity. Perhaps most significantly, Oaks must lead a church whose younger generations increasingly question traditional positions on gender, sexuality, and social justice. His legal training and decades of experience provide valuable preparation, but the scope and complexity of these challenges would strain any leader. The next few years will reveal whether Oaks's methodical, law-based approach can address these multifaceted problems effectively.
As Dallin H. Oaks prepares to become the 18th president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, church members and observers worldwide are asking the same question: what will change? Based on his 4 decades of apostolic service and his consistent emphasis on certain themes, several predictions seem reasonable. Expect continued strong emphasis on religious freedom issues, with Oaks likely using his legal expertise to advocate for religious exemptions and constitutional protections. His methodical approach suggests fewer surprise announcements, but more thoroughly planned, legally sound policy changes. His focus on traditional marriage and family structures will likely continue, though perhaps with increased emphasis on compassion and understanding. Internationally, his legal background may prove valuable in navigating complex regulatory environments as the church expands globally. Most importantly, Oaks brings intellectual rigor and legal precision to challenges that require both spiritual discernment and practical wisdom. The boy who lost his father during the Great Depression has become the man called to lead millions through uncertain times, armed with legal training, spiritual conviction, and nearly half a century of preparation for this moment.